Social engineering. Social engineering is the practice of manipulating individuals into divulging confidential or sensitive information. Can be used for malicious purposes, such as phishing or identity theft. Also has legitimate uses in fields like marketing and sales. Here's a simple explanation with a real-world example. Social engineering is when someone tricks others into sharing confidential info. Think of it like this: imagine you're at a restaurant, and a friend asks to borrow your phone to check on a supposed urgent matter. When they hand the phone back, they now have access to all your contacts, messages, and even bank info if you stored those on the device. This is a form of social engineering, where your friend manipulated you into revealing sensitive information. Legitimately, companies use social engineering in marketing and sales to persuade customers to buy their products or services, but maliciously it can be used for phishing or identity theft. Types of social engineering attacks. Phishing, email-based. Pretexting, gaining trust through deception. Baiting, using bait to lure victims into a trap. Phishing, using psychological manipulation to gain access. Here's a simple explanation for each type of social engineering attack. Phishing, email-based. Imagine you receive an email that looks like it's from your bank, asking you to update your login information. However, it's actually a scammer trying to steal your credentials. This is phishing, where attackers use fake emails to trick people into revealing sensitive info. Pretexting, gaining trust through deception. Picture a scammer calling a business and claiming to be from the CEO's office, asking for employee details or access to confidential information. They're using pretexting to build trust and get what they want. Baiting, using bait to lure victims into a trap. Suppose someone sends you a free gift card or a prize if you simply click on a link or download an app. This is baiting, where attackers use tempting offers to get people to let their guard down and fall into a trap. These social engineering attacks prey on human psychology, making them difficult to defend against. Psychology behind social engineering. Exploits human emotions and psychology. Targets vulnerabilities in individuals, rather than systems or technology. Can be used to create a sense of urgency or trust. Here's a clear and simple explanation. Social engineering, the psychology behind it. Imagine you're at an airport, and someone asks you to carry a small package for them because they forgot it in their rush to catch a flight. You might agree to help because you feel empathy for the person and want to be helpful. This is similar to how social engineers work. They use psychological tactics to make people trust or cooperate with them, often to gain access to sensitive information or systems. By understanding human emotions and vulnerabilities, they can create a sense of urgency or trust, making it easier to manipulate individuals into doing something they wouldn't normally do. Common social engineering tactics. Impersonation, posing as someone else. Authority manipulation, using fake authority to gain access. Scarcity tactics, creating a sense of urgency to make a decision quickly. Here's a simple explanation and real-world example for each social engineering tactic. Impersonation. Imagine you're calling a tech support hotline and the person on the phone claims to be from Microsoft, or another company. They might ask you to install a software update or give them access to your computer. But, how do you know it's really Microsoft? This is an example of impersonation, someone pretending to be someone else to get what they want. Authority manipulation. Think about a person claiming to be from the police department, saying they need immediate access to your house because of a security issue. They might pressure you into letting them in quickly. But, if you're not sure it's really the police, it's best to verify their identity first. This is authority manipulation, using fake authority to gain access or get what you want. Scarcity tactics. Picture this: a website offering a limited time discount on a popular product. The timer starts ticking down quickly, and you feel like you might miss out if you don't buy it right now. That's scarcity tactics in action, creating a sense of urgency to make a decision quickly, often without considering the consequences or checking for better options. Social engineering in the workplace. Can be used by employees or outsiders to steal sensitive information. Often targets HR, finance, and IT departments. Can lead to data breaches and financial losses. Here's a simple explanation. Social engineering in the workplace is when someone uses psychological tricks to get employees to reveal sensitive information or do something they shouldn't. It's like a con artist pretending to be from IT, calling an employee and asking for their password. Imagine your coworker receives a call from IT support saying there's a problem with their laptop and they need to give them their login credentials to fix it. The person on the phone might sound friendly and official, but in reality, they're trying to steal that information. This can lead to data breaches, financial losses, or even identity theft. To protect yourself, be cautious when asked for sensitive info like passwords or credit card numbers. Don't give out personal details over the phone unless you verified it's really from IT or another trusted department. Indicators of a social engineering attack. Unusual emails or phone calls from unknown individuals. Requests for sensitive information or access to systems. Pressure to make a decision quickly or face consequences. Here's a simple explanation. Social engineering attacks often try to trick people into doing something they shouldn't do, by being friendly and pushy at the same time. Here are some signs that might indicate you're in the middle of one. You get an email or phone call from someone you don't know, asking for information or access to things like your bank account or computer. They try to rush you into making a decision quickly, saying something bad will happen if you don't do it right away. Think of it like this: imagine you're at the bank and someone approaches you who you've never seen before. They ask you for your PIN number and say that if you don't give it to them, your account will be frozen. This is a classic sign of a social engineering attack. Social engineering in the home can be used by scammers to steal money or sensitive information. Often targets elderly or vulnerable individuals. Can lead to financial losses and identity theft. Here's a simple and clear explanation for the slide content. Imagine your grandmother, who may be easily trusting and vulnerable, receives a phone call from someone claiming to be her bank's representative. They tell her that her account has been compromised and she needs to verify some sensitive information over the phone. If she falls for it, scammers can steal her money or personal info. This is an example of social engineering in the home, where scammers use psychological manipulation to trick people into doing something they shouldn't do, often with serious consequences. How social engineers gather information. Use public records and online directories to gather information. Monitor social media for personal details and habits. Conduct reconnaissance on victims before launching an attack. Here's a simple explanation. Public records. Social engineers can find public info about people online, like names, addresses, and phone numbers. This is like looking up a person's name in a white pages directory. Social media. They can also see what people share on social media, like their habits, interests, or where they live. It's like following someone on Facebook and seeing their posts about what they had for breakfast. Reconnaissance. Before even trying to trick someone, social engineers might snoop around online to learn more about them. This is like casing a neighborhood before breaking into a house, not that I'm saying they're doing that, just using the analogy. Common targets of social engineering attacks. Business owners and executives. IT professionals and employees with access to sensitive systems. Elderly or vulnerable individuals who may be targeted by scammers. Here's a simple explanation for each target group. Business owners and executives. Imagine a CEO being tricked into revealing sensitive company information to an attacker, who then uses it for malicious gain. This can lead to financial loss, reputational damage, or even theft of intellectual property. IT professionals and employees with access. Picture a network administrator being phished, tricked into giving away login credentials, by an attacker who then gains access to the company's entire system. This could allow the attacker to steal data, install malware, or disrupt operations. Elderly or vulnerable individuals. Envision an elderly person receiving a scam phone call from someone claiming to be a government official or a grandchild in trouble. The scammed individual might end up revealing financial information, sending money, or even giving away sensitive personal details. How social engineers use psychology. Create a sense of urgency or trust to manipulate victims. Use emotional appeals or promises of reward to gain cooperation. Exploit vulnerabilities in individuals, rather than systems or technology. Here's a simple explanation for each point. 1. Create a sense of urgency. Imagine you're shopping online and there's a countdown timer saying last chance to get 20% off. This creates a sense of urgency, making you more likely to make a hasty decision without thinking it through. 2. Use emotional appeals or promises of reward. Have you ever seen an ad that says limited spots available? Be one of the first 100 people to sign up and receive a free gift. This uses emotional appeal by creating excitement and promise of a reward, making you more likely to take action. 3. Exploit vulnerabilities in individuals, rather than systems or technology. Think of a phishing scam where someone pretends to be a friend in need of help, trying to get you to reveal sensitive info. This exploits the vulnerability of trust between friends, not a weakness in a system. Types of social engineering attacks on the home. Phishing, email-based. Pretexting, gaining trust through deception. Baiting, using bait to lure victims into a trap. Here's a simple explanation for each type of social engineering attack on the home. Phishing, email-based. Imagine you receive an email that looks legit, but it's actually from a scammer trying to trick you into giving away sensitive info like passwords or credit card numbers. They might claim your account is compromised and need you to click a link or provide details. Pretexting, picture a friend asking you for help with something they claim is urgent, like a family emergency. You trust them, so you give in. Later, it turns out the emergency was just an excuse to get what they wanted from you. Scammers use similar tactics to gain your trust and get info or access. Baiting, think of a website that looks super interesting, but it's actually a trap. You click on it, and suddenly your computer is infected with malware. Baiting uses bait, interesting stuff, to lure victims into a trap where they can get hacked or compromised. How social engineers use authority manipulation. Pose as authority figures or law enforcement. Use fake credentials or ID cards to gain access. Create a sense of urgency or importance to manipulate victims. Here's an explanation and real-world example for each point. 1. Pose as authority figures or law enforcement. Imagine you're at a store and someone calls you, claiming to be from the police department. They say they have information about a crime in your neighborhood and need you to come down to the station. This is a classic example of social engineering through authority manipulation. In reality, this could be a scammer trying to get you to reveal sensitive info or even hand over cash. Always verify the identity of anyone claiming to be from law enforcement by contacting their department directly. 2. Use fake credentials or ID cards to gain access. A company's receptionist gets a call from someone who claims to be an executive from a sister company, but their ID card looks fake. The receptionist lets them in, thinking they have clearance. This is authority manipulation through fake credentials. In reality, this could be a thief trying to break into the building or access sensitive areas. Always check IDs carefully and verify identities before giving access. 3. Create a sense of urgency or importance to manipulate victims. A phone scammer calls, saying your bank account has been compromised and you need to act fast to prevent fraud. They pressure you into revealing info like passwords or credit card numbers. This is authority manipulation through creating a sense of urgency. In reality, banks and other institutions will never ask for sensitive information over the phone. If there's an issue, they'll contact you directly and securely. Always be cautious when dealing with urgent requests that require sensitive info. Indicators of a social engineering attack in the home. Unusual emails or phone calls from unknown individuals. Requests for sensitive information or access to systems. Pressure to make a decision quickly or face consequences. Here's a simple explanation of the indicators. If someone is trying to trick you into giving them information or access to your home systems, they might do things that seem suspicious or weird. Here are some examples. Receiving strange emails or phone calls from people you don't know. Being asked for sensitive info like passwords or bank details. Being told you have to make a decision fast, or there will be trouble. These actions could be signs of someone trying to do social engineering. Common scams used by social engineers. Money scams, e.g. lottery scams, fake investments. Identity theft scams, e.g. phishing, pretexting. Data breaches and hacking, e.g. accessing sensitive information. Here's a simple and clear explanation for each common scam used by social engineers. 1. Money scams. These scams try to trick you into sending money to scammers who promise big rewards, but don't deliver. Think of it like this: imagine someone calls you saying you won the lottery, but they need your credit card number to release the prize. It's a trap. 2. Identity theft scams. These scams try to get sensitive info from you, like passwords or financial details. A real-life example is when you receive an email that looks like it's from your bank asking for login info, but it's actually a scammer trying to steal your identity. 3. Data breaches and hacking. This refers to when scammers get into systems or databases to steal valuable data, like credit card numbers or personal details. It's like someone breaking into your home and stealing your valuables, but in this case, it's online. How to protect yourself from social engineering attacks. Be cautious of emails or phone calls from unknown individuals. Verify credentials and authority before cooperating. Keep personal and financial information secure. Here's a simple explanation with a real-world example. Protecting yourself from social engineering attacks. Imagine you're a customer service rep at your bank, and someone calls pretending to be a manager asking for sensitive info about your account. They might even have some fake credentials or documents to make it seem legit. But here's the thing, you are the one who needs to verify their identity before cooperating. Don't just trust the person on the phone or in an email, take a moment to check if they really work there and if you should be sharing that info with them. Example. John gets a call from someone claiming to be his bank's manager, saying they need him to confirm some account details over the phone. John remembers a tip from his friend about verifying credentials before cooperating. He takes a minute to call the bank directly and asks to speak with a manager. When he does, he finds out that the person on the earlier call was actually an imposter. So, remember, be cautious of unsolicited emails or phone calls, verify credentials before sharing sensitive info, and keep your personal and financial details secure. Training for employees on social engineering. Provide regular training sessions on social engineering tactics. Educate employees on how to identify and report suspicious activity. Use simulations and role-playing exercises to build awareness. Here's a clear explanation of the slide content. Social engineering training for employees. To protect our organization from social engineering attacks, we need to educate employees on how to identify and report suspicious activity. This training will help them become more aware of tactics used by attackers. Why is this important? Social engineers try to trick people into divulging sensitive information or performing certain actions that can harm the company. By educating employees, we can reduce the risk of a successful attack. How will we train employees? We'll provide regular training sessions that include simulations and role-playing exercises to build awareness. Discussions on how to identify suspicious activity. Examples of real-world social engineering attacks. What can employees do to help? If they suspect something is wrong, they should report it to our security team immediately. We'll provide a way for them to easily report any concerns. This training will help us build a stronger defense against social engineers and keep our organization safe. Implementing social engineering training in the workplace. Use a combination of classroom and online training methods. Involve all employees, from executives to IT professionals. Continuously update and refine training programs based on new threats and tactics. Here's a simple explanation with a real-world example. Implementing social engineering training in the workplace. Think of social engineering like a game of cat and mouse, where hackers try to trick employees into revealing sensitive info. To win this game, you need to train your employees on how to spot these tricks. Why a combination of classroom and online training? Imagine an IT professional, let's call her Sarah, who is responsible for maintaining the company's network security. She attends a classroom session where she learns about common social engineering tactics like phishing emails and pretexting, where hackers pretend to be someone else. This in-class learning helps her understand the importance of staying vigilant. However, online training takes it a step further. It provides interactive modules that quiz Sarah on how to identify suspicious emails and report them to IT. She can even take practice quizzes on her own time, reinforcing what she learned in class. Involve all employees. Just like how everyone should know basic first aid, every employee should have some basic social engineering training. Not just IT professionals or executives. Even the receptionist who answers phones and greets visitors should be aware of these tactics. This way, everyone is on the same page, and the company is better protected. Continuously update and refine. New threats emerge all the time, so it's essential to keep your training programs updated. Think of it like a software update for your employees' knowledge. Regular refreshers and new modules help ensure that everyone stays ahead of these evolving threats. Why social engineering matters for businesses. Can lead to data breaches and financial losses. Damages reputation and trust among customers and stakeholders. Affects employee productivity and morale. Here's a simple explanation. Imagine your company's sensitive information, like customer data or financial records, being stolen by an insider who has been manipulated into doing so through social engineering tactics. This could happen if someone poses as a CEO on email and tricks employees into handing over confidential info. This can lead to major consequences for businesses, such as data breaches that put customers' sensitive info at risk, financial losses due to stolen funds or compromised transactions, reputation damage when customers find out about the breach, leading to trust issues and potentially even losing business. Even a decrease in employee morale and productivity if they feel their security protocols have been breached. Social engineering matters for businesses because it's a realistic threat that can cause serious problems. How social engineers use scarcity tactics. Create a sense of urgency or importance to manipulate victims. Use limited time offers or exclusive deals to gain cooperation. Exploit vulnerabilities in individuals, rather than systems or technology. Here's a simple explanation. Social engineers use tactics to create a sense of urgency or importance to manipulate people into doing something they might not normally do. This can be as simple as saying you have 24 hours to take advantage of this special deal to get someone to act quickly. For example, imagine you're shopping online and see a limited time offer on a product you like. The seller says this sale ends in an hour, if you don't buy it now, it will be gone forever. This creates a sense of urgency that might encourage you to make a quick purchase. In reality, social engineers use similar tactics to manipulate people into revealing sensitive information or doing things they shouldn't do. They might say you're one of the 10 lucky winners who get to participate in this exclusive event to create a false sense of importance and gain cooperation. Indicators of a social engineering attack on the workplace. Unusual emails or phone calls from unknown individuals. Requests for sensitive information or access to systems. Pressure to make a decision quickly or face consequences. Here's a simple explanation. Imagine you're at work and someone calls you, claiming to be from IT, saying they need your password to fix a critical issue with the system. They want you to hand it over quickly because there are security risks if you don't. This could actually be a social engineer trying to trick you into giving them sensitive information. Real IT departments usually communicate through official channels and won't ask for passwords over the phone. So, be cautious when dealing with unusual requests or pressure, they might not be what they seem. How social engineers use baiting tactics. Use bait, e.g. prizes, rewards, to lure victims into a trap. Create a sense of excitement or importance to manipulate victims. Exploit vulnerabilities in individuals, rather than systems or technology. Here's a simple explanation with a real-world example. Social engineers use baiting tactics to trick people into revealing sensitive information or performing certain actions. This can be done in two main ways. Using bait, like prizes or rewards, to make something seem too good to pass up. Creating a sense of excitement or importance to manipulate victims into doing what the social engineer wants. For example, imagine you're at a mall and someone comes up to you with a fake lost and found box that looks official. They tell you there's a prize inside for finding it. To get the prize, you have to give them your phone number or email address so they can contact you about the prize. This is an example of using bait, the promise of a prize, to trick people into revealing their personal info. Social engineers also exploit vulnerabilities in individuals, rather than systems or technology. This means they take advantage of people's trusting nature or lack of knowledge about something. For instance, if someone claims to be from the bank and asks for your account number and password so they can verify it, that's exploiting a vulnerability, in this case, trusting a fake bank representative. Common mistakes made by victims of social engineering attacks. Failure to verify credentials and authority. Lack of awareness about social engineering tactics. Failure to report suspicious activity or seek help. Here's a simple explanation. Not taking security seriously enough. Many people fall victim to social engineering attacks because they don't take security precautions seriously enough. This can happen in several ways. Not checking if someone calling you about a bank issue is actually from the bank. Not being aware of scams that try to trick you into giving away personal info. And not reporting suspicious activity, like someone asking for your login details. Think of it like this: imagine you're at a restaurant and someone tries to send you a fake delivery guy to pick up your food. If you're not careful, they might get access to your meal, or worse. It's the same with social engineering, just be aware and take security seriously. How to use simulations and role-playing exercises in social engineering training. Create scenarios that mimic real-life social engineering attacks. Involve all employees, from executives to IT professionals. Continuously update and refine training programs based on new threats and tactics. Here's a simple explanation for the slide content. Using simulations and role-playing in social engineering training. Imagine you're at a coffee shop, and someone approaches you with a fake phone call from a IT support team saying your computer has been hacked. They ask you to download a suspicious software to fix it. What would you do? This is what social engineering training simulations are about, creating realistic scenarios that test employees' ability to resist these kinds of attacks. It's not just for receptionists or interns, All staff, from executives to IT professionals, need to know how to respond. The key is to keep learning and updating. As new threats emerge, our training programs should too. This way, we can stay one step ahead of the bad guys and protect ourselves, and our organization, from social engineering attacks. Why social engineering matters for individuals. Can lead to identity theft and financial losses. Damages reputation and trust among family and friends. Affects personal safety and well-being. Here's a simple explanation. Why social engineering matters for individuals. Social engineering is when someone tries to trick you into giving out sensitive info, like passwords or financial details. This can lead to big problems in your personal life. Imagine someone calls you, pretending to be from your bank, and asks for your login details. If you give them the info, they could steal money from your account. Or, if someone uses social media to figure out where you live, they might try to break into your home. Social engineering can affect not just your finances but also your safety and reputation. It's like having a bad person in your network who can hurt you or those you care about. So, being aware of social engineering tactics is crucial for protecting yourself and your loved ones. Conclusion. Social engineering is a serious threat that can affect individuals, businesses, and organizations. By understanding the tactics and techniques used by social engineers, you can better protect yourself and your organization from these attacks. Here's a simple explanation. Social engineering, a real-world example. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and someone approaches you, claiming to be a friend of a mutual acquaintance. They ask for your password, saying it's just a security check to help protect their computer. Would you give out your password? This is similar to how social engineers work. They try to trick people into revealing sensitive information or performing certain actions that can compromise security. By being aware of these tactics and taking precautions, you can protect yourself and your organization from social engineering attacks.